What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with some Raid Shadow Legends. And we're actually here in the Ice Golem stage 20. We just had clan quests reset yesterday. And I always like to grab the ones where you can do a particular faction against a certain dungeon boss. As long as it's a faction I have some decent champs in. And it's not something weird like Spider with some faction that's really not good at doing Spider. But this week we had the Ice Golem with the Bannerlords faction. So Bannerlords are actually one of my stronger factions on my main account. I have a lot of the good champions there, so I decided we would just jump in here and throw a team together and see how we can do on this. So we do have the Spirit Ice Golem on stage 20, so we have brought in a couple of magic champs, and then we've also got Stag Knight here for the decreased defense, decreased attack. We've got Septimus just to hit big and try to end this quickly. We've got Helmet here, we've got Raglan, in case anything goes wrong we need that revive, and then we have Lord Champfort, who's just an all-around pretty solid champion for dungeons. Normally I like running him in the lead for his big HP aura, but since we do have Septimus here, we want to make sure he's going to hit a little bit harder, get a little bit extra attack. So let's just let this go and see what happens. Now, this is not speed tuned. I usually will just throw in 5 of my better champions from a faction in order to do this. The idea here is that get the decreased defense out, and then Septimus usually can come through here and clean everybody out. Unfortunately, he did not one-shot everybody in the wave. That does sometimes happen, and you can kind of run into some problems on wave 2 here because you do have the reflect damage that these guys can put out. So if you don't wipe this group pretty quickly, this is the one area you can kind of get tripped up. Fortunately, we didn't again get around to killing everybody. My Septimus is built pretty well, but he's not going to nuke everybody off the face of the earth with a single target attack. And you can see there's the problem. He does kill himself hitting that reflect damage. Thankfully, we can get him revived. He almost does it again. So then we're going to come in here to the Ice Golem, and the goal here is just to get the decreased defense out, get the attack down out, so that if he does hit us, we're not going to get hit super hard. Kill the ads first, and then hopefully Septimus can unleash that Holy Sword on the main boss, because if you do get the ads down and you do have the attack down up on the Ice Golem, he does not hit you very hard. It's kind of a weak shot there, unfortunately. So we'll have to get a reset in. I can't remember if my Septimus is crit capped still. I actually rebuilt him a little bit ago to kind of max out his attack and crit damage, and I may have not gotten him back to 100% crit rate, so that may be why he had such a weak hit there. But we'll see if he'll get another shot at the Holy Sword here and see if he can hit a little bit harder. Okay, there we go. It's a little bit of a better shot there. But you see there, as long as we got that attack down up on the Ice Golem, and both the ads are dead, we're really not going to get hit too hard on that counterattack. That's one thing I do try to tell people if they're struggling with Ice Golem 20 is try to bring in an attack down champion. Make sure you've got the ads taken out prior to the Ice Golem attacking with that big slam. And then you're kind of free to use your Septimus or your Royal Guard or your Cold Heart to do that big hit. You're usually not going to pay too much of a price for it as long as you got the attack down out there. Alright, so there we go. 210, not great, not terrible for a type of content like this where we're doing just a random faction. It's actually not too bad. Let's go ahead and run it again just to see if it's consistent. And it does kind of work out here because Stag Knight is the fastest out of everybody, so he does kind of go first and get the decreased defense out there. Pretty good there, actually. We did clear that wave pretty fast, just using the A1 there. Now, I would like to say I'd like to get a big stun out here, because if we can get the stun and keep that reflect damage from going out, then we can do a little bit faster here. So it looks like this is actually going to go a little bit better as long as we can get around and kill this one little dog here before he gets his reflect damage out. So hopefully Septimus can cut it loose here. Okay, so there we go. Doing a little bit quicker this time. This looks like a little bit of a better run. We'll see how the actual Ice Golem goes. You're going to have a little bit of a variance in the runs, obviously, because of RNG, and also because we haven't speed-tuned this team. Like I said, we just kind of throw everybody in randomly when we do these. So sometimes these can take a very long time to do if you have a faction that's not that great. Okay, so there we go with Septimus getting the big shot in. You see, even with decreased defense on, he still survived the big slam from the Ice Golem because we had that decreased attack out. I know I harp on that a lot with this boss, but it's just very important to have an attack down champion. You know, even if you're trying to do a speed run on this, you can bring in someone like a Stagnite who's going to give you the decreased defense, but also the decreased attack. That way, you know, if for some reason your run doesn't go according to plan, you can actually still survive even if something goes wrong. So that's kind of why we do that there. So there we go, minute 35. That's more around what we're looking for this comp. So it looks like this is going to work pretty well, and we shouldn't have too much of a problem finishing our 10 runs out for this clan quest. So pretty cool. Like I said, pretty fortunate to have good banner lords. Let's just we'll take a look here real quick. Raglan, one of my stronger champs I have in my account. She's built pretty well. Very high resistance build, mostly for arena. I usually will use her in some kind of hegemon counter team, so she's resisting those debuffs and then putting out her cleanse right afterwards. She can also revive anybody that might go down in that opening shot. Champfort, I haven't really done much with him in a long time. He's just kind of a general use build. Pretty decent resistance. I think I was using him on the lower levels of Hydra. That's kind of what this build was from, but he's someone I need to revisit at some point. Probably now that we've got better gear on the account, go through and kind of fix him up a little bit. And here we do have Septimus, and again, yes, he was not crit capped. That's why he had that weak shot in there. I did rebuild him a little bit earlier to try to get him above the 7k attack. So we're at 94%. We need a little bit more there. But this was the only way I could get him into a Savage and Cruel set, so he can one-shot some of the bosses in my speed runs. So that's kind of what we did there. Hopefully we can get some better gear going on him, or they give us some crit rate glyphs at some point. Who knows? We got Archmage Helmet here, who's in kind of a Doom Tower wave build. That's why he's in the stun set. He does have some stun mechanics in his kit, but we wanted to give him a little bit more. And he is crit capped, of course, because his abilities do require to hit that crit attack, so you can get a little bit of extra out of his abilities. And then we finally do have a Stagnite, who's still in his Scarab King build. I haven't touched some of these champions in a while. I used to use him in a speed tune team for the hard Scarab King until I built my solo Vergis, so that's why he's in the Destroy gear. That's why he is actually as fast as he is, because he was having to go in tune against the hard Doom Tower boss. And pretty good accuracy, 403. That's more than enough for what we're doing here. Again, another champ we need to revisit at some point, probably get him into some different gear, work on his defense. But again, we just had him speed tuned against the hard Scarab King. That's really the only place we've been using him in outside of Faction Wars. So there's a look at the team I'm using for Banner Lords versus Ice Golem. Fairly easy clan quest for us this week, since we do have good champs in this faction. But let me know if you'd like to take these faction-specific quests. I think they're kind of cool. It kind of gives you a way to play with some of the champions on your roster you may not normally use. It's kind of an interesting way to go through and have a little bit of fun with the game. I know some people don't like having the faction-specific stuff, but I think it's kind of cool because it allows you to use a little bit more of your roster that you might not be using in other places. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you again next time.